Hello, my name's Bruce. This is my channel. Thanks for watching. A couple things, kind of administrative things. The first one is, if you could subscribe, that would be wonderful. I would greatly enjoy that. The second thing is, I checked, because periodically I do, and I discovered that my subscriber count had hit 600 people, which, if you're one of those 600 people, thank you very much, really. And I fully suspect that some people may unsubscribe because they may go, oh God, this guy's boring, but that's okay. I don't mind. Life goes on. And it's raining. It wasn't raining when I began this, but I had to take a phone call from a relative who was having some issues with some science. And we had some random telephone science support. Yes, Bruce speaking. How can I help you? No, I don't know anything at all about what it is you're doing, but hey, I can offer some general attaboys. Way to go. That's great. Anyway, the topic for today. Wow, there's like this giant squirrel thing over there. The topic for today is transportation, kinda. If you know that the videos, I like to think they're about economics and public policy, which sounds boring, I get it, but it affects our life. Okay? It affects our life on a day-to-day basis. If you've been watching all these videos, and I don't think anyone has, you'll know that I made a video about explaining the tremendous cost of excavation, digging holes. I don't know if I don't know if this is working, but we'll see. Digging holes, okay, and holes in general, right, and cubic things. So if you're going to build something, the expensive part of what you're building is quite often a hole. And if you can avoid digging a hole, then that is good. Sometimes you have to dig a hole to build a thing, and the reason is because you need support, some structural support, some geotechnical support, some footings, some excavations. That becomes necessary, but your idea is to make that as small as possible. Now, I bore the heck out of my people around me by counting or calculating dump trucks. Okay, so if you look at some project and you say, well, how many dump trucks of material had to be moved to build that project, and quite often that number gets to be like 1 million or bigger. Really, 1 million dump trucks. You think, well, how's that possible? It's 1 million dump trucks. But, and you'll know that I'm in Canada. I make no bones about that. And now, the province of Ontario. Okay, in Canada, the provincial, if you can you see this? I don't even know. Can you see my board? But the province has control over energy. Energy. If you happen to be in Canada and you're upset with the cost of energy, it's not the federal government. Full stop. Energy, transportation, healthcare, mineral resources, and education. Education is a provincial deal. It's provincial responsibility. There you go. But the premier, this transportation idea. Now we're going to talk about the city of Toronto. So the city of Toronto in this picture is down here, Toronto. And there's more Toronto down here. And this part down here that's not in the picture, doesn't matter, is the Lake Ontario. And across the top of Toronto is a highway, a couple of highways. It's a highway 401. There's another one in the 407. Okay, 401, 407. 401 is no toll. 407, toll. 407 was built as what's called a public-private partnership, otherwise known as a fiasco. So the public pays, the private people reap the rewards, and And I don't know, and if you happen to be the government at the time, you could try to explain to the world that what you did was good, but, well, not really. Anyway, okay, Highway 407. But this distance here, it's like, I don't know, it's like, let's just call it 40 kilometers, 25 miles. 25 miles. And I'm going to put up some kind of screen capture or something to show you an overview of what this looks like. But it's if you think that the busiest and the largest highways in the world happen to be in Los Angeles or something like that, hold my beer, says Toronto. It's there, and they're big. How many lanes? The exact number I don't know. It's like 30, 40. A number like that. I'll find out. Maybe I'll stick it in. But I'll find out. Remember, if you go back to the earlier videos, say, my version of math and information is, I want it to be accurate, I want it to be true, and I want it to be close enough to make the point. Okay, I don't get pedantic. All right, so you have this idea of this. Now, the Premier of Ontario has thought that this is one side of the city, this is the other side of the city. He said, let's dig a big tunnel and we can put transit and cars in there and everybody's gonna be, yay, good. Okay. The moment that you say the word dig, you should do a gut check. And the moment that you say you should dig a big tunnel, you should really do a gut check and you say, well, that's a bad idea. Now, this is a bad idea of massive, massive proportion. It's a horrible idea. There's nothing good about it whatsoever. This idea, or the notion that this video channel, my YouTube channel, by the way, if you like it, subscribe. My name's Bruce, is about economics and public policy, and I've talked many times about the idea of utility. Utility is the good, the benefit that is derived from something. I've talked about opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is what you have foregone, the thing that you didn't do in order that you could do the thing that you do, okay? And I just like saying do, it's fun. But, and the role of government. So the role of government is to maximize the well-being of everyone. Now, if you're going to dig this tunnel or do this underground thing or whatever, this, as an idea in public policy, is a train wreck. It's horrible of the first order. It's horrible. And the problem is that the Premier, if you're the Premier, you're going to find people that will tell you, yeah, it's a great idea, especially if you're this guy. And if you happen to be the person that's, say, driving the bulldozer, if you're the bulldozer driver, put a bulldozer here, this is a dozer, tracks, and there's a thing on the front that pushes. If you're the person that's driving this dozer and you say, hey, is this a good idea? You say, yeah, because I'm getting lots of overtime. I don't care. And if you're the person that owns the bulldozer company, you say, is this a good idea? The answer is yes, it's a good idea, because we're getting lots of work, lots of jobs, lots of money, and my house is getting a whole extension put on it. It's a good idea. And if you say that to the general contractor, hey, who's the person that hires the bulldozer company, is it a good idea? Same answer, it's a great idea. And if you say it to the engineers, the structural engineers, the geotechnical engineers, the designers, the people. Now, the company I used to work for, hey, all these roads up there, well, a good hunk of them, we designed them. Anyway, say, is that a good idea? Say, yes, it's a good idea, because we're getting paid. As long as we're getting paid, it's a good, every idea that pays us is a good idea. But if you're a member of the public, if you're a citizen of the planet Earth, this is a good idea? No, it's a horrible idea. That's a worse than bad idea. It's awful. Awful, awful, awful. Now, is there an alternative? Yes, there's an alternative. The first alternative is that in a fashion, this idea is offering a solution, or it's not even a solution. It's comes from an imaginary problem that doesn't exist. It's a definition of an imaginary problem. The second one is that this idea of utility. The utility that you're trying to build is you want to be able to move things from here to there. You want to be able to people to move from here to there. And that's what you want to move, are things and people and goods. Make your services accessible. This thing is edifice building. It's building a monument to, I don't know, to folly, a monument to something. It's not focusing on the utility. I've made some, in my earlier videos, you talked about some alternatives for transportation that really deliver a greater utility at a single-digit percentage of the expended resources or money, because people understand things in terms of money. Okay, there's much better ideas, much dramatically so better ideas, and this idea is so bad that it causes me to give pause and think, well, this person that is in charge of the lives of the people of the province of Ontario, what is the basis of their thought? I mean, it's concern. Are they well educated? Have they attended university? Have they engaged in discourse to get the underlying realities of our society and to understand how their policy affects everyone? And have they engaged with planners? Have they read academic reports on transit and traffic and such? Where does this come from? It might come from the same place that this guy had an idea before that said, well, let's build a giant Ferris wheel in the middle of the lake. Yeah, that was real. Anyway, my name's Bruce. This is my channel. If you like this video, please subscribe. Not all videos are similar to this. They're similar in the sense as me, but some of them are at their core worse. Some are at their core better. But goodness gracious, we have actual problems. We have crisis of housing. We have a crisis of an opioid epidemic. People are dying. We have a crisis of healthcare and absence of healthcare professionals. We have a crisis of education. We have genuine problems and concerns, threats to our well-being, that ideas like this, they do not help. They do not help. Anyway, you subscribe to my channel. I like it when people subscribe, and really it costs nothing. Thank you very much. Okay, bye.